The first sign was not a cannon shot. It was a sail. A tiny white mark on the edge of the Atlantic, so small that the captain of the merchant ship could still lie to himself for a few minutes. Maybe it was a fisherman. Maybe it was a trader bound for Jamaica. Maybe it was just another tired hull, crawling through the same blue water. Then the sail changed course. The captain watched it through his glass. The strange ship turned with him. He ordered a small change to the west. The stranger changed again. Now every man on the merchant deck understood the truth before anyone said it out loud. That ship was not passing by. That ship was hunting them. And if this was the early 1700s near the Bahamas or the Windward Passage or the Carolina coast, then the most dangerous thing in the world was not the cannon. It was the silence before the pirates showed their real flag. Because this is not the movie version where pirates scream first and think later. A real pirate raid was not random chaos. It was a trap with sails, it was math, it was wind, it was fear. It was a business plan carried out by men who knew that a dead crew and a shattered ship were bad for profit. The best pirate raid was not the bloodiest raid. The best pirate raid was the one where the victim gave up before the first body hit the deck. So let us walk through it the way it actually worked, step by step. From the first sail on the horizon to the moment the pirates vanished with the cargo. Start with the target. A pirate crew did not wake up and attack the first ship it saw. That is bad hunting. It is also a fast way to die. The ocean was full of ships that looked tempting until you got close enough to count the guns. A fat merchantman could carry sugar from Barbados, tobacco from Virginia, indigo, cocoa, rum, silver coin, fine cloth tools, medicine, rope powder, spare sails, food, water, even enslaved people in the ugliest part of Atlantic trade. But the same merchantman might also carry armed guards. It might have a captain who knew how to fight. It might be sailing close to a convoy. It might be bait. It might be too fast. It might be too empty. So the pirates looked first. They studied the ship through a spyglass. How high did she ride in the water? If she sat low, then she was heavy. Heavy could mean cargo. Heavy could also mean slow. Good for pirates. How many masts did she carry? How clean were the sails? How many men were visible? Could they see gun ports where the ports open or closed? Was the ship alone? Was it close to land? Was there a naval patrol nearby? Was the wind helping the pirates or helping the merchant captain run? This is where the real raid began, not with shouting, with looking. A fast pirate sloop or brigantine could be deadly because it did not need to overpower a merchant ship. In a fair duel, it only needed to catch it. Many pirate crews loved smaller, fast vessels because they could work close to shore. They could slip into shallow water. They could chase in light wind. They could carry a lot of men for boarding. That last part mattered. A merchant ship might have a dozen or 20 working sailors. A pirate vessel might cram in 80 or 100 armed men on a ship that normally would carry far fewer. That was miserable for comfort. It was excellent for intimidation. Picture the merchant captain now. He is maybe bound from Kingston toward Charleston, or from Barbados toward the Virginia Capes. His owners are hundreds of miles away. The cargo is not really his. The sailors are tired. Some of them have not been paid in months. Some have been beaten by officers. Some are one bad order away from deciding that no barrel of sugar is worth a hole through the lungs. That is the dirty secret pirates understood. They were not only attacking ships. They were attacking the loyalty inside those ships. A merchant captain needed his crew to fight for cargo that belonged to investors on land. A pirate captain could point at the same cargo and tell his men that every chest and barrel was their payday. That changes everything. Now the pirates need position. The most important thing at sea was the wind. A pirate wanted what sailors called the weather gauge. That meant being upwind of the target. If the pirate ship held the wind, then the pirate captain could choose when to close and when to turn away. The merchant ship could run, but only if the wind allowed it. So the pirate did not always point straight at the victim. He might angle across the water. He might appear harmless at first. He might sail a line that looked normal until the distance shrank. A good raider did not announce the raid too early. This is where false colors came in. A pirate ship might fly a British flag near a British merchant, a French flag near a French ship, a Dutch flag near a Dutch trader, a Spanish flag if that made sense for the waters. That was not just costume drama, it bought distance. If the merchant captain believed the approaching ship was friendly or neutral, then he might not run. He might not clear the guns. He might not call every hand to quarters. He might keep his course. He might let the stranger come close enough that escape became impossible. Think of it as the pirate version of walking calmly up to a bank counter before pulling the mask down. The whole trick was to delay panic. The merchant captain still has choices at this point. He can run. He can heave to. He can prepare to fight. He can try to bluff with his own flag. He can fire first, but every minute makes the pirate ship larger in the glass. At a distance, the stranger is only a sail. Then it is a hull. Then it is a deck. Then the merchant crew can see too many men standing where a normal crew should not be standing. That is one of the first giveaways. Too many men. A merchant ship under sail did not need a mob on deck. A pirate ship about to board, the pirate captain may still wait. He wants to get close enough that one sharp action can break the target. If he reveals too early, then the merchant may run into shoal water or reach a fort or signal another ship. If he waits too long, then he risks a surprise broadside. So there is a moment. The distance is short. The wind is right. The guns are loaded. The boarders are armed. The pirate quartermaster knows which men go first. The helmsman keeps the angle. Then the false flag comes down. The real signal goes up, black, maybe with a skull, maybe with bones, maybe with an hourglass, maybe with a bleeding heart. Pirate flags were not one single clean logo from a gift shop. Different crews used different designs. The point was not graphic design. The point was a message: surrender now and you may live. That black flag did not mean let us have a fun sword fight. It meant this crew has already decided what it is. It means they are outside the law. It means they have nothing good waiting for them if captured. It means they would rather scare you into surrender than waste powder and men. And sometimes if the black flag did not work, then red came next. The red flag was worse. It warned that mercy was ending. Was every red flag used exactly the same way by every pirate crew? No history is messier than that. But the meaning people feared was clear enough. Black was pressure, red was threat. And if you were on a merchant deck with a pirate ship closing in, then you did not pause to argue footnotes. You looked at the flag and made a decision that could get everyone killed. Now comes the first shot. In movies, the first shot often blows a hole through the ship and sends barrels flying. Real pirates usually did not want that. A broken prize was a smaller prize. A burning prize was a disaster. A cargo hold full of splinters and seawater helped nobody. So the first shot was often a warning. A cannon fired across the bow. Not always, but often enough that it became part of the logic of the attack. The shot screamed over the water or slapped into the sea just ahead of the merchant ship. The message was simple. We are in range. We can hit you. Strike your colors, stop running. A warning shot also gave the merchant crew a way to surrender without feeling that the captain had folded at the first scare. He could tell himself he had no choice. He could tell the owners later that pirates were on top of him. He could tell a court that resistance would have murdered the crew. This mattered, because surrender had to happen inside a chain of pride and fear. A captain did not want to look weak. The crew did not want to die for another man-owned cargo. The pirates wanted both sides of that argument to collapse fast. So who fired first? Usually the pirate wanted to control that moment. The pirate wanted the warning shot. The pirate wanted the flag. The pirate wanted the target to feel surrounded before the real fight began. But if the merchant captain fired first, then everything changed. Now the pirate crew had proof of resistance. Now they could punish harder. Now the red flag might go up. Now a raid that could have ended with stolen cargo might turn into smashed rigging and men bleeding out beside the guns. This is why many merchant ships surrendered, not because every sailor was a coward, because the calculation was brutal and obvious. You might have 6 guns. The pirates might have 10. You might have 18 tired sailors. They might have 90 armed men. Your men might be thinking about wages. Their men might be thinking about shares. Your cargo belongs to someone in London or Boston. Their loot is right in front of them. And if you win somehow, then what? You still have to limp to port with dead sailors and damaged sails. If you lose after resisting, then the pirates may decide to make an example of you. That is why the psychology mattered more than the cannon. But let us say the merchant captain does not surrender. Maybe he is proud. Maybe he is former Navy. Maybe he has valuable passengers. Maybe he knows the pirates have a cruel reputation. Maybe he believes land is close enough. Maybe he thinks one lucky shot can bring down the pirate mast. He orders more sail. The chase begins. Now the pirate ship changes from actor to predator. The men trim sails. The helmsman follows the stern. The gunners wait for angle. If the wind drops, then pirates might use sweeps, long oars, hard ugly work, men pulling and cursing while the ship crawls forward without enough wind. The target tries to run downwind or across the wind. The pirate tries to cut the line, not chase the exact path, cut the escape. This part could last minutes or hours. It was not glamorous. It was heat, salt, splintered rope, men staring at distance and knowing whether their world was shrinking. If the pirate gets close enough, then the shooting becomes more serious. But even now, the pirate may aim at rigging, take down a sail, cut a halyard, damage the rudder, break the merchant ship ability to run. A shot into the hull could sink the prize. A shot into the rigging could stop it. This is one reason sea fights looked different from clean Hollywood battles. Smoke covered everything. Cannon were slow, aim was hard. A moving wooden ship was a terrible gun platform. Men did not calmly snipe from perfect distance. They worked in noise and smoke and fear, and the scariest wounds were often not from the iron ball itself. Wooden ships turned into weapons when hit. A cannonball could tear through planks and send splinters across the deck. A man could be ruined by pieces of his own ship. That is one thing master and commander gets closer than most adventure movies. The wood itself becomes part of the fight. Pirates knew this. Merchants knew it too. So after a few shots, the question returns, are you really going to keep fighting? If the answer is yes, then the pirates close for boarding. Barding was the nightmare. A long-range cannon duel was terrifying. Barding was personal. Now the pirate ship comes alongside or crosses close enough to throw grappling hooks. Lines bite into rail and rigging. Men pull. Hulls grind. The ships slam together and separate and slam again. Swivel guns fire from the rail. Small guns loaded with scraps or small shots sweep the deck. Muskets crack. Pistols fire once, and then become clubs because reloading in that mess is a joke. Cutlasses come out because they are short enough for tight space. Axes appear because axes open doors and cut lines. Pikes and boarding spears keep men back. Belaying pins become weapons because everything on a ship can become a weapon when two crews meet at the rail. But the real terror is numbers. The pirate crew floods the rail. One man jumps, then 3, then 10. Then the merchant deck that looked familiar a minute ago becomes a packed wooden room with strangers on it. This is why pirates wanted a large crew. Not because every man was an elite fighter. Most were sailors first. But if you put enough armed men onto a smaller merchant crew, then courage breaks fast. A pirate boarding party did not need to kill everyone. It needed to make resistance feel useless. One pirate runs for the helm. Another group rushes the forecastle. Another drives men away from the guns. Someone secures the companionway. Someone watches the captain. Someone cuts loose any weapon rack. The quarterstaff may be right in the middle of it because he is not just a loot manager. On many pirate ships, he is the man who protects the crew interest. He watches the prize. He watches the prisoners. He watches the division of goods later. The pirate captain has authority in battle because battle needs speed. But he is not a king in the way a merchant captain or navy captain might be. Once the danger passes, his power can shrink fast. Pirates were criminals. But they were organized criminals with rules, because rules kept them from destroying their own payday. Now the merchant captain has seconds left. If he strikes his colors, then the ship is surrendering. If he calls for quarter, then he is asking for mercy. If he keeps fighting after the pirates board, then he may doom his crew. This is the moment pirate terror was built for. The black flag, the warning shot, the reputation, the crowd of armed men. All of it exists to make this decision happen before the deck becomes a slaughterhouse. So let us say the merchant gives up. What happens next? First, the pirates secure the ship, not the treasure. The ship, because a surrendered ship can become dangerous again if the crew regroups. Weapons are collected. The captain and officers are separated. The helm is controlled. The powder room is guarded. Hatches are watched. Men are ordered to stay where they are. Then the questions begin. What ship is this? Where from? Where bound? What cargo? What passengers? How many guns? Where is the strongbox? Where are the bills of lading? Who is the carpenter? Who is the surgeon? Who can navigate? Who speaks Spanish? Who knows the coast? Who has been hiding money in the lining of a chest? The pirates know that cargo is not always obvious. A ship carrying cheap-looking barrels may have coin hidden in the cabin. A captain may carry letters that reveal richer targets. A passenger may be worth ransom. A carpenter may be worth more than a chest of cloth. This is one of the biggest myths people miss. Pirates were not only stealing gold, most of the time they stole practical things: food, water, rum, gunpowder, muskets, pistols, cannon shot, medicine, sailcloth, needles, rope, anchors, tools, navigation instruments. Clothes shows. A pirate crew could not walk into a normal harbor and politely restock without risk. Every raid was also a supply run. Gold was great. A working pump could save the ship. A barrel of flour could keep the crew alive. A chest of medicine could matter more than silver when fever hit. This is why pirates searched carefully. They broke open lockers. They checked the great cabin. They read papers or forced someone literate to read them. They questioned sailors one by one. If the captured captain had a reputation for cruelty, then things could get ugly. Pirates often hated merchant captains who abused crews because many pirates had lived under men like that before. Sometimes captured sailors told pirates where the captain hid valuables, not because those sailors loved pirates, because they hated the captain, or because they wanted the raid over, or because the cargo was not worth dying for. That is the human crack pirates pushed open. Now comes the cargo decision. The pirates do not simply grab everything. They have limited time, limited space, limited patience, and the horizon is always a threat. A Navy ship could appear, a privateer could appear. A storm could turn the whole raid into a wreck, so the pirates choose high-value goods first: coin plate, jewelry powder, arms, medicine, good cloth, spices if they are there, small valuable cargo, then food and water, then tools and sail gear. Bulky cargo is harder. Sugar is valuable but heavy. Tobacco can be sold but takes space. Rum is useful and valuable but also dangerous if the crew starts drinking before work is done. Logwood and hides and barrels of goods might be worth taking, only if the pirates have a place to sell them. This is where pirate networks mattered. Pirates needed buyers, fences, corrupt merchants, friendly ports, ream beaches, colonial towns willing to pretend they did not ask too many questions. Stolen cargo had to become money somehow. A chest of coins is easy. A hold full of sugar requires a market, and the authorities knew this. They did not only chase pirate ships. They also worried about the people on shore who bought the stolen goods. Now the pirates inspect the captured vessel itself. Is it faster than their own ship? Is the hull sound? Can it carry more guns? Does it draw too much water? Can it outrun a naval sloop? Is it too famous? Could it be useful as a prize? Sometimes the best loot was the ship. Blackbeard did this in 1717 after pirates took a large French slave ship and turned it into Queen Anne Revenge. That changed his power overnight because a captured vessel could become a pirate flagship if it had the size and strength for guns. Most captured ships were not that dramatic. Many were stripped and released. Some were burned, some were sunk, some were kept for a short time, some were used to carry prisoners, some were sent away after the pirates took what they wanted. Again, the rule is profit and risk. Keeping a prize means splitting the crew or sailing with extra hulls that slow you down. Burning a prize sends a message but destroys value. Releasing a prize spreads fear because the survivors talk in every port. Fear was advertising. That sounds insane until you understand pirate branding. A pirate crew wanted a reputation strong enough to make the next ship surrender faster. If everyone heard that surrender meant survival, then more ships surrendered. If everyone heard that resistance meant torture or death, then fewer crews resisted. That does not mean pirates were kind. Many were brutal. Some were sadistic. Some did things that were horrific even by the standards of a violent age. But random violence could be bad strategy. Targeted terror worked better. A pirate captain who killed every prisoner might scare people. He might also make every future target fight to the last shot because surrender no longer offered hope. A pirate captain who spared every resisting crew might invite resistance. So the terrifying balance was this: surrender fast and maybe live fight, and maybe become the warning story. That is colder than movie chaos. That is organized fear. Now let us talk about the prisoners. The first group is the merchant captain and officers. They are questioned hardest because they know the cargo and the papers. If the crew says the captain was cruel, then he could be beaten. If the captain fought after surrender signals, then he could be punished. If he hid valuables, then things could turn vicious. The second group is ordinary sailors. Pirates might rob them. They might offer them a chance to join. They might force a few. They might release them. It depended on the crew. It depended on the moment. It depended on need. The popular idea that pirates always forced everyone to join is too clean. Some men did claim they were forced because that excuse could help them in court if they were captured later. But many sailors joined because merchant life was harsh, and pirate shares could be enormous compared with normal wages. That is not romance. That is desperation plus opportunity. Imagine being a sailor who has been underfed and beaten for months. Your captain tells you to fight pirates for cargo that belongs to merchants who will never know your name. Then the pirates board and tell you that aboard their ship, you get a vote, you get a share, you get food if food exists, you get a chance at money that legal work may never give you. It was still a death sentence waiting to happen if the Navy caught you. But for some men, the choice did not look insane. The third group is specialists. These men mattered a lot. A carpenter could patch the hull after a fight. He could repair masts. He could keep the ship alive after weather damage. A caulker could seal seams. A cooper could repair barrels because barrels held water and food. A gunner knew powder and cannon. A pilot knew coasts and channels. A surgeon was gold with dirty hands. Ships were injury machines. Barracks fell. Leans snapped. Fingers crushed. Teeth rotted. Fever spread. Wounds turned bad. A crew without medical skill could lose men from problems that started small, so if pirates found a surgeon, they might try hard to keep him. That could mean persuasion. It could mean threats. It could mean forced service. Same with carpenters and pilots. A chest of silver was wonderful. A man who could keep the ship floating could be more valuable. The fourth group is enslaved people. This is where the romantic pirate myth needs to shut up for a minute. Some pirate crews included black sailors. Some formerly enslaved men found space in pirate crews that was different from life on plantations or merchant ships. But pirates also took part in the same Atlantic world of violence and profit. They captured slave ships. They sold enslaved people. They treated human beings as cargo. Any version of piracy that turns them into clean freedom heroes is lying. A real raid could mean one group of criminals stealing from another brutal system and still feeding that system. That is the uncomfortable truth. Now, while all this is happening, the clock is running. A raid cannot last forever. The pirate lookout keeps watching the horizon. The captured crew is restless. The pirate crew wants loot. The officers want order. The quartermaster wants fair division. The captain wants movement. The sea does not care. If weather turns, then two ships lashed together become a problem. If a sail appears, then everyone has to decide whether it is another victim or a threat. If the captured ship catches fire, then the whole prize can become smoke. So the pirates move fast. They load goods into boats or directly across if the ships are close. They pass barrels, they pass chests, they take weapons. They take powder carefully because one stupid spark can end the story for everyone. They may force captured sailors to help unload their own ship. That sounds humiliating because it was. A man who just surrendered may now be carrying his owner cargo into a pirate boat while armed men watch him. Then comes division. Not always on the spot, often later. But the rules already exist. Many pirate crews used articles, ship rules, agreements, not the cute pirate code from Pirates of the Caribbean where everyone makes jokes about guidelines. Real articles could say how loot was divided, who got a full share, who got extra, what compensation a wounded man received, who had authority, what happened to thieves inside the crew. Why would criminals need rules? Because criminals with no rules rob each other and die. A pirate crew was built around shared risk. The captain might receive more than a normal sailor, but not the absurd gap you would see in legal shipping. Specialists could receive extra. The quartermaster had power, because someone had to stop the captain from taking too much. This mattered during a raid, because every man needed to believe the danger was worth it. If the crew thought the captain was cheating, then the next mutiny could start before the next sunrise. Now let us go back to the captured merchant deck. The pirates have the cargo they want. They have taken the weapons. They have questioned the captain. They have chosen whether to keep any specialists. What happens to the ship? There are a few endings. 1, they release it. This is clean if the ship is not worth keeping and the pirates do not want murder charges made worse. They may leave enough food and water for the survivors to reach land. Or barely enough. The survivors limp into port and tell the story. The pirate reputation grows. 2, they strip it and burn it. This destroys evidence and sends terror down the trade routes. It also removes a witness vessel from immediate use. But witnesses still survive if they are put ashore or into boats. 3, they sink it. This can happen if the pirates want no chase and no recovery. It is risky and cruel depending on what happens to the people, for they keep it. If the captured ship is better, then the pirates move aboard. They transfer guns, they rename it. They turn yesterday merchant ship into tomorrow nightmare. 5. They use it as a message. A released captain carries news faster than any printed notice. He tells Kingston, he tells Charleston, he tells Boston, he tells London through letters. Insurance rates rise, merchants panic, governors demand naval help, sailors whisper. And the next time a black flag rises on the horizon, another captain remembers that story. This is how fear travels, not by magic, by survivors. Now there is one more part people forget. The pirates also had to escape. A raid was not finished when the loot came aboard. It was finished when the pirate ship got away. That meant speed. They might change course immediately. They might head toward shallow water where a heavier warship could not follow. They might hide among islands. They might run toward the Bahamas. They might vanish into the inlets of the Carolina coast. They might sail for West Africa. Some operated around Madagascar and the Indian Ocean, where distance itself became protection. A Navy ship could beat pirates in a straight fight if it caught them right. That is the key. If it caught them. Pirates survived by choosing fights and avoiding fair ones. The Royal Navy did not need to be everywhere to be dangerous. It only needed to appear once at the wrong moment. So pirates preferred raids that ended before news moved. No long heroic battle. No dramatic speeches. No standing around on deck counting coins under the moon. Get in, break the will, take what matters. Leave, that is the whole machine. The end of the raid is almost quiet. The pirate ship turns away. The captured sailors stand on their stripped deck. The weapons are gone. The best food is gone. The strongbox is gone. The captain papers are scattered. Maybe the carpenter is gone too. Maybe the surgeon is gone. Maybe a sailor who hated the old captain has joined the pirates and now refuses to look back. The merchant ship is still alive but humiliated. That is another reason pirates often left survivors. A survivor spreads the message. He tells people how fast it happened. He tells them about the flag. He tells them about the warning shot. He tells them the pirates had too many men. He tells them the captain had no chance. The next crew hears that in a tavern. Then one day that next crew sees a sail on the horizon, and the trap begins again before the pirate ship is even close. That is the part Hollywood rarely understands. A pirate raid did not begin when pirates boarded. It began in memory. It began with stories carried from port to port. It began with the knowledge that if a black flag came up, then your captain had minutes to decide whether your life was worth someone else's cargo. That is the raid. Not chaos, compression. The trap gets smaller with every minute. The sail on the horizon, the second course change, the false flag, the closing distance, the black flag, the warning shot, the rail packed with armed men. The captain looking at his crew and realizing he may already have lost them. That is how pirates won. Not by being drunk maniacs with swords, by making the other side believe the fight was over before it started. And the final myth needs to die here. A successful pirate raid was not the one with the most cannon smoke. It was not the one with the biggest pile of bodies. It was not the one that looked best on a movie poster. A successful pirate raid was clean by pirate standards. The target was chosen well. The wind was used well. The false flag bought distance. The black flag broke the crew. The warning shot forced the decision. The cargo stayed intact. The useful people were taken or tempted. The prisoners carried the story. And the pirates were gone before the nearest warship knew their name. That is the real nightmare of the Golden Age of Piracy. Not that pirates always killed, that they often did not need to.